We have this tweet here that I want y'all to see so we can talk about. This is from Debate Society of Berkeley. AI is getting out of hand. Y'all got me excited for nothing. And there are several photos AI generated of Trump being arrested, and they're pretty good. So the first one we're showing is just a bunch of NYPD cops holding Trump, who looks panicked. The next one is Trump apparently resisting arrest as a bunch of cops stand around him and try to lock him up. The next one is this is really funny. This is my favorite one. Trump running, panicked, as some cops aren't even looking at him and are running apparently the other direction. So, okay. And then the last one is Trump once again resisting arrest as cops are, yelling and pinning him down. And this cop here, he's got a strange little hand. You can't really see it. But the reason why I think this is significant, we talked about it before with the AI stuff. People started making fake posts and deep fakes that Trump had already been indicted, that Trump was being arrested, and then they make photos like this. I saw a bunch of these going around. People were like, Trump surrenders, and some weren't as crazy as this. But these photos, they're going to be hard to tell if they're real at a glance. Mm-hmm. So what happens in 50 to 100 years when some kid is looking through the archives and he sees photos and he's like, I don't know which one's the real one.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
History is being erased.
We just said that it's unlikely that we'll get this big cuffing moment of Trump, but they don't need it if they can just fake it, right? If the idea is that the media, which is dominantly left wing in this country, wants a picture of Trump in handcuffs, all they need to do is, run one on the evening news that's been AI generated and then issue an apology the next day. It's already too late at that point. They've exposed this fake photo.
What happens if someone right now who's, I say, 60 years old, they're not on Twitter, they're not on the internet, they have no idea, and they turn on the Tucker Carlson, they turn on the Fox News, and they're sitting there, and Tucker's like, it's all an outrage. None of this is real. And he's like, yeah, you tell him, Tucker. And then he goes to the bar where he meets up with his friends, and his friend's like, he puts his glass on and says, let me show you this picture. And then he holds it up for everybody, and they see a photograph of Trump being arrested, and they go, no, what is this? Wow. And they believe it because they don't know what's going on. My point is, there are probably a lot of people who genuinely believe Trump was arrested, and these photos may be real.
I think it's like the fulfillment of a fantasy for a lot of people. Like, they'll believe the photos, even when you can tell that these are sort of not right. The lighting's not right. That one guy's got a bizarre hand. But it's the fulfillment of this thing that they've been rabidly jonesing for what, 4+ years at this point. They want Trump in handcuffs so badly that they are willing to believe a completely fake photo.
I hope they arrest him.
All those cops are the same cop. If you look at that picture, they're all the same guy.
No, that's...
The cop,
that's what they look like.
They really, really look similar.
And yeah.
You're just racially profiling New York City cops
you are.
right now?
I see that photo and I'm like, that looks like every protest I've ever been to. Yeah. But what I was saying a moment ago is I do hope Trump gets arrested. I really, really hope he does. I hope they go down to Florida, a bunch of cops surround his house, and they knock on his door, they get a warrant, Trump answers, and they say, Mr. President, you're under arrest. I hope it happens so the facade of our democracy can finally be over. Because I tweeted that, and you get all these lefties laughing and being like, dude, and I'm like, okay, listen. When Barack Obama can murder a 16-year-old American citizen without charge or trial and get nothing, not so much as a bad word could be said about him by any of you people, then you want to arrest Donald Trump because he said, I'll give you some money if you claim that we didn't bang. Like, that's the crime of the century for which you are going to go and arrest. So I'm kidding about going to his house and actually arresting him. But I hope the arrest happens. I hope he shows up and they say, haha, we got him now. Because then we can stop pretending like these people are anything other than psychopaths who are trying to steal power.
A couple of years ago when Steve Bannon turned himself in to the FBI because of whatever charges they're bringing against him, it was kind of it wasn't the most monumentous moment, but I do remember it being sort of powerful watching him say, like, I'm going to do this, like, we've got to keep fighting, whatever else, going in. And then, like, obviously the legal battle continues, but it does have this moment where you feel like, okay, we've got to move forward. Like, it had weight behind it. In some ways, I feel like Trump, showing up wherever, being like, I'm going to turn myself in, I'm surrendering to custody because, like, we cannot keep going this way, and this is an abuse of power. Like, it will give him a platform in this very powerful moment that, yes, obviously I wish they wouldn't arrest him, but on the other hand, like, I don't think they follow anything logical. They're not bound by the ethics that I think most Americans are bound by. And so we might as well make the most of this thing. Like, that's why I was glad that he announced, like, yes, they're going to arrest me. Like, I'm telling you right now it's about to happen. Like, this is what our democracy has come to. It's sort of powerful. It's political theater in a way that I wish we didn't have it. On the other hand, I'm glad he's taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that he's going to. Well, I mean, it seems obvious that if he's going to be arrested, that he should capitalize on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're going to make these moves, he should do. Obviously, should do whatever he can.
He shouldn't let them set the narrative.
Yeah, he should definitely do whatever he can to set the narrative. And having pictures of himself in handcuffs or having his mugshot as a campaign ad. As the first president that's ever been arrested by the opposing party when the opposing party is in power, I think that it's powerful. I think that it will matter to obviously to MAGA people, and it'll get them fired up, and that could make a difference in the polls, but it's still a long way away, and we don't know who else is going to be running and stuff, so. I don't know that this matters in 2024. It'll matter today and for the next, the news cycle, probably for maybe a week or two. But
do you feel like the left's turning Trump into a martyr with this action?
Well, that's exactly what's happening. They've been going after Trump now for decades. It's just not in the last 4 or 6 years, Russia collusion, all that's the impeachment, everything. They're concerned about Donald Trump, and you have to ask yourself, if Donald Trump truly lost the 2020 election, why are they going after him now? Right? Why? I mean, if he truly lost the election, why are they going after him? You would think 7 million votes, right? 2020, what did he lose by? 7 million, 71 million to 64?
I think it was like 10 or something.
Okay, 11 million.
Or maybe you're right. Maybe it was like 7 or 8.
Okay, but the point is, he lost by several million. He lost the electors by 60 or 70. You would think you'd want the same guy coming back in 4 years. Why don't they want that man coming back? Why do they feel they have to paint him as like a criminal, that this guy's got to be put in jail, put in handcuffs?
Because
they are so afraid of him.
Because people saw Joe Biden. You could only get away with a Joe Biden one time, and they know it.
Well, do you think Joe Biden's is he the nominee?
Oh, yeah.
He is.
I mean, what are they going to do? Who are they going to get?
Well, I don't know.
Oprah?
Maybe Michelle wants to jump in there, but I'll tell you something. I'm sending Joe Biden $25. I want Joe Biden to be the nominee so bad. I hope that's who they have. They have a short bench. I got it. Very, very limited.
I don't think it's a bench. It's like a chair.
Well, I want him to be the nominee
Wheelchair.
so bad because Donald Trump's going to be the nominee. He'll be the 47th president.
I agree.
Yeah.
When you had that year, a year is an eternity in politics. And it doesn't matter what Trump did in 17, 18, and 19. All that matters is that last year was COVID. And there was no sports, there was no movies. Everybody was pissed off. And they said in the media and across the board, Trump did it. Joe Biden hid in his basement. And people went out. And you have to look at the enthusiasm levels. Enthusiasm for Biden was nil. But enthusiasm against Trump was almost as high or higher than enthusiasm for Trump among his base. Here's the thing. We now have a Joe Biden. The economy is in shambles. We're nearing World War III. All of the things Trump said that were going to happen have happened, or are happening, or are about to happen. And regular people are wondering why it costs $6 for a dozen eggs. So you can't run the guy again because all of these problems that have been going on for years, people ain't happy about.
Yeah.
do you think they're going to run someone else?
I'm saying they're going after Trump desperately because they don't have a candidate.
Because who are they going to run? Kamala?
Nope.
No. Like, there's no obvious alternative. I mean, Joe Biden was supposed to be the end of the old guard, welcoming in this new era, and, no one
Ron
likes
DeSantis.
Harris.
They'll run him. That's their best bet.
I bet they would.
That's the only thing
Do you
they
think
got.
they would have Ron DeSantis if they wanted
Basically.
to beat Trump enough? I mean, obviously.
They just give up and they're like, well, the only person who can beat Trump is
They
DeSantis.
nominate Joe Manchin because he's a Democrat, but he's the best that they can do.
I mean, yeah.
If they were smart, that's what they do. But again, they
Nah.
set this precedent of we are ending the old party Democrat, right? Like Pelosi's gone. Joe Biden, I think, is supposed to be the last
AOC.
Old white president, and they never successfully cultivated someone to take over for him, and he doesn't want to leave office. I mean, the reason Joe Biden hasn't announced is not because he doesn't want to run, it's because the party doesn't want him to.
Can you imagine how amazing it would be if they choose Ocasio-Cortez?
Oh,
Just to see the AOC Trump debates.
Don't tease
like
me
I would
like
become-
that. Don't tease. That would be
I'm
just.
not going to comment. I'll see her tomorrow.
It would be just beautiful.
I'm not saying anything negative. I'm saying it would be a sight to behold.
Do you find you have to do that?
Hey, look,
More people are
she'll get-
talking about Michelle Obama today.
No,
Uh,
yeah.
And I think
That's-
Michelle Obama she could be one of those. She's going to do it for the good of the country, so to speak. She'll be one of those that says, I really don't want to, and my husband doesn't want me to, but I have to for the good of the country. You could see her jump in that. That would be a little scary because I'm concerned about the electorate and how they vote. But we did get some hope, though, a couple weeks ago, did we not, with the crime that we're seeing across our country, getting rid of that nut job in Chicago, that Lightfoot.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
was
You
she
see the
not just horrible?
You see the reporter say, "Get the hell out of this city."
No.
Crazy.
So maybe people in the cities, in these inner cities, minority groups, and others are saying, you know what, our children matter too. Crime matters in inner cities, and we've got a mayor that is just.
You know, the thing about Chicago is, it was all based on race. So if you look at the election map and overlay it with the racial neighborhoods demographics map, it's the top. The person who won the neighborhood was the race of the people who lived in the neighborhood. That was probably the in my view, the dominant factor. Lori Lightfoot won in almost every black neighborhood. And then, what was it, Vallis, was that the guy? White dude won all the white neighborhoods, and then the Hispanic dude won in the Hispanic neighborhoods. And then in the college areas, there was a woke black man who won, which is unsurprising for woke people. But it was almost entirely based on race. So I think what ends up happening is white voters mobilized due to the crime in their areas, and then voted based on not necessarily race, but principally, I shouldn't say principally, but predominantly. And the reason I say not entirely is because the woke white people voted for a black man, but it was shocking to see the racial breakdowns there.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.